Hello, welcome to the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Pulaski Electric System. I'm Steve Pierce, your host. Along beside me is Bobcat head football coach David O'Connor. Coach, first playoff game is in the books. The Bobcats 48-7 winner over David Lipscomb.
A really good win, Steve. I thought our kids came out and we executed from the time the game started till it ended. Offensively, we had 7 possessions. We scored all 7 times. Defensively, we made them snap the ball a lot. And one time they were fortunate enough to get it all the way down and get 7 points. So it was a really good game on both sides of the football.
Let's break it down a little bit and talk about the defense. I know that we talked that David Lipscomb's offensive line probably fired off the ball better than anybody we faced this year.
They did. Their offensive line played at a good speed, a good tempo. They really brought it to our defensive linemen for some parts of the game. And I think playing that type of level of play is going to benefit our defensive linemen in the end.
Yeah, we played Lewis County and of course Lawrence County and even Lincoln County this year. Primarily running teams. How do you think that factored into this ball game facing another running team?
I think that's big, and really they were very similar to what Lewis County did on offense, what Franklin County did early in the season against us. And going against the run, that's something we're going to have to do again this week. I mean, I hate to get the cart ahead of the horse, but it'll be this week as well.
When you face a team like David Lipscomb, we pretty much knew going into the ball game what you was going to get, and just being able to stop it's what's hard.
That's exactly right. I mean, we knew what plays were coming. We've worked on them all week, but stopping the tempo they come at and the execution pace they play at, that was the challenge for our defense, and in the end we held on.
Let's take it over to the offense. You mentioned it to start the show. The Bobcats score on every possession. Yeah,
Coach Osteen, our offensive coordinator, he sets a high standard for our offense, and he expects execution at the highest level and performance at the highest level all the time. And, as we tell our kids, if we have to punt, we consider that a failure. So, our goal is not to ever punt.
Again, spreading the ball around, counting Al Cobb, 5 different runners touched the ball rushing the football and 5 different receivers catching passes.
Yeah, and that's not a great number compared to what we've had at some points of the season, but in tighter games and playoff games, you need to kind of minimize the number of people that touch the football because you want to make sure ball security is at the utmost importance in the playoff games.
Of course, we know after every ball game, the coaching staff stays, they break down film, and they grade each player, and we talk about it every week. It seemed like the offensive line really gave Al Cobb time to get rid of the football.
Yes, they did. Our offensive line is doing a really good job protecting the passer. Coach Kirk's doing a really good job scheming up pass protections against the different fronts we see as the season progresses, and each of those guys are by now have built a library of things they're going to be able to use and pass protections we'll use throughout the rest of the playoffs.
Nico Walker running hard again, and it sure was great to see the senior D.D. Coffey get a touchdown the other night.
Yes, it was. D.D. he's a mess now. He can really run. He is the fastest guy on our football team, and we use him a lot, try to get him out in space on the perimeter, whereas we try to use Nico more inside the tackles and running off tackle type offense.
Coach, Peyton Oliver had a couple of catches the other night, or at least one catch the other night, but that's 2 weeks in a row that he's starting to be a part of the offense.
Yeah, he's become a bigger part. I guess it started about the midpoint of the season. Coach Osteen gained a lot of confidence in him through the preseason up until that point, maybe in some JV games and really a lot during our scout offensive stuff against our first team defense. I think Peyton really made a name for himself with Coach Osteen, and he's stepping in now, and he is one of the players. I think he works in as our number 4 receiver and does a really good job at it.
And Lucas Harrison, for the 2nd week in a row, yards after catch, Lucas Harrison just refused to go down.
Yes, he did. And just a sophomore, I expect to see that for 2 more years. He is a really good football player.
Kenton Baker, again, an exciting night. Tell us about the goal line play down here when Kenton Baker scored the touchdown.
Well, it was right before the end of the half, and they called timeout to kind of just see what kind of formation we're in. So we get back out, we call timeout to see what defensive alignment they're going to be in. And on the sideline, both quarterback Al Cobb and Kenton both say, coach, it's one-on-one coverage, and the guy's hurt his knee. He can't move very well. So we just throw a fade over there to Kenton, and he goes up and makes a play, really uncontested.
Coach, talk a little bit about the coaches that are up in the booth and how they help you coaches that are down on the field.
Well, it's all part of a process of how we try to execute a game plan. Everybody goes into a game with an initial game plan of what we saw on film from the week before, what the team did against other teams that have some type of offenses or defenses similar to ours. And then we go into that game plan, and then in the course of the game, sometimes you have to adapt or adjust your game plan according to what they're doing to try to combat your game plan. So, they relay the information down to us. They tell us what techniques, what alignments the offense or the defense they're using is lining up against us in, and we try to combat it with something that's going to be good for us or advantageous for our offense or defense.
Yeah, Bobcats, an impressive crowd down here Friday night. It's one of the biggest crowds we've had.
And very lively. It was really good to stand out in front of that crowd. Our guys really get jived up just listening to the crowd, and as we go on the field, they're excited when they look back over to our sideline and they see our team on the sideline, and then they see this huge crowd behind us.
So there you go. The Bobcats victors over David Lipscomb 48-7. First round of the playoffs for 2012 is in the books. Coach, here we are. We're moving into the second round of the playoffs. Notre Dame out of Chattanooga comes to the Brickyard, Sam Davis Stadium, Jack Deere Field at 7 o'clock this Friday night. Tell us a little bit about the Fighting Irish.
They're a really young football team. We faced David Lipscomb, which is a Church of Christ school, basically out of Nashville. It is the same type school out of Chattanooga, except they're Catholic, and they play the same brand football. They're really well coached, just like David Lipscomb was, and they're a little different now. They don't run the wing tee, or they don't run that same type, but they run a pro style offense, which is really similar to what we run. And defensively, they base out of a 3-4, but they move it around a lot. They are young. Now they start several freshmen and several sophomores, but I would say in that class they probably have 4 or 5 of the top athletes in the entire Chattanooga area that they've recruited.
Whenever you start getting into the second round of the playoffs and moving on, there aren't any bad teams. Everybody you play every week, you're playing better and better teams as each week goes along.
That's exactly right. Everybody is good at this point. It's all about surviving in advance.
What about practice so far this week?
We've had one good day of practice, and I think we had a good breakdown session on Sunday where I think our kids get better every week from watching film and looking at their grade sheets and seeing the corrections they need to make for the next week. Yesterday we had a good tempo practice outside, maybe one of our best Mondays we've had in a long time. Now I hope that translates into a good game on Friday, but it doesn't always work that way.
Coach, the senior leadership, we've talked about it all year long. It's time for those seniors to step forward now. And
I think they are. I think our seniors are stepping up and starting to lead. I could really see that in our game on Friday. I couldn't be more proud of a bunch of seniors than we have. We don't have a great number of seniors. We only have 11 or 12, but every one of those guys play their hardest and work their hardest every day.
Coach, I've already numerous people in the community coming up and talking about being here this Friday night. Everybody's excited about the playoffs.
How could you not be excited about it, Steve? It's an electric atmosphere here. If you come, I've had several students in class say, Coach, last Friday night was the first time I've come to the game, and I'm coming back. They're want to know when we play at home again. Yeah, that's the same questions we've been getting. So a big crowd here Friday night. It puts it all together with the band of gold, the big crowd here, and the Bobcats fighting hard to win the second round of the playoffs. That's exactly right. Our band, it puts on a great show at halftime. Our cheerleaders do a really good job of getting the fans and the entire stadium into the game. And then hopefully our football team is going to respond and play and do as well as those two do. No doubt. Well, there you have it. This Friday night, the Bobcats right here at Sam Davis Park, Jack Deere Field, the Brickyard, will be taking on Notre Dame out of Chattanooga. Coach, Notre Dame, big Notre Dame fan sitting here in college ball. Well, yes, I am, Steve. And as an Alabama fan, you know a lot about Notre Dame and the struggles you guys always had with my university. And Notre Dame is really starting to come back. I think we tithed there for several years and gave to others. which you Alabama fans haven't done lately. And I think this is maybe our year we're coming back around.
Okay, maybe so, Coach. But have you haven't been wearing a Notre Dame shirt maybe up and down the halls of school, have you?
Yes, I do. I really like to sport that Notre Dame shirt as much as I can, especially this week with us playing Notre Dame.
Yeah, a little extra motivation there on the inside from Coach David W. O'Connor, your head coach of the Giles County Bobcats. Folks, we're glad you joined us. We need everybody down here Friday night at the Brickyard.
Yeah, get here early. Show up, get here. Nothing excites our kids even more than having a great crowd on hand as coming out just for warm-ups and people being in the stands already, and that kind of elevates our play.
Yeah, great atmosphere. So we're going to see all of you 7 o'clock Friday night right here as the Bobcats take on Notre Dame. I am Steve Pierce, your host of the Coach's Corner. It's brought to you by Pulaski Electric System. We will see you later.